There is a specific way to think about how dangerous a venomous snake actually is. It is not the same as asking how scary it looks, or how aggressive it is, or even how toxic its venom is in a laboratory setting. The real question, the one that matters when you're standing in its territory, is this: if this snake bites you right now and you do nothing, how long do you have? That question has answers. Real ones, based on venom chemistry, clinical case records, and the documented speed at which each species' toxins move through a human body toward the point of no return. This is not a list of the snakes most likely to bite you. Antivenom has changed survival rates dramatically, and most venomous snake bites in the United States are now survivable with prompt treatment. The point of this ranking is different. It is what each snake's venom is capable of in the time you have before treatment arrives, measured honestly against the biology of what it delivers. Here are the deadliest venomous snakes in America, ranked by how fast they can kill you. Number 8. The cottonmouth. The cottonmouth, also called the water moccasin, is the only venomous water snake in North America found across the southeastern United States in rivers, swamps, drainage ditches, and flooded fields. And it holds the bottom position on this list not because it is harmless, but because its venom, while genuinely destructive, kills relatively slowly by the standards of what ranks above it. The venom is cytotoxic and hemotoxic, meaning it destroys cells at the bite site and prevents blood from clotting. A serious bite produces intense local pain, progressive swelling, hemorrhaging, and in severe untreated cases, tissue necrosis that can spread well beyond the original bite site over hours and days. Documented fatalities from cottonmouth bites exist, but they are uncommon. Modern antivenom is highly effective, and even significant untreated envenomations typically take many hours to become life-threatening in a healthy adult. What earns the cottonmouth a place on this list is not the speed of its venom, but its behavior. The cottonmouth is one of the most feared venomous snakes in North America, with powerful cytotoxic venom so destructive it can eat away flesh and result in amputations. It is also one of the few American snakes that stands its ground rather than retreating, biting more readily and more aggressively than most of its pit viper relatives, which means the chance of receiving a significant envenomation rather than a dry bite is meaningfully higher in a cottonmouth encounter than in many others. Number 7. The timber rattlesnake. The timber rattlesnake sits in the middle of this list because of a specific biological feature that separates it from most other American rattlesnakes. It doesn't carry one kind of venom. It carries two. The timber rattlesnake possesses not one, but two kinds of venom: neurotoxic, which attacks the nervous system, paralyzing its victim, and hemotoxic, which destroys body tissue, making you easy to digest. This dual venom profile creates a clinical picture that is significantly more complicated to treat than a standard rattlesnake envenomation. A treating physician dealing with simultaneous hemotoxic tissue destruction and neurotoxic paralysis faces a protocol challenge that doesn't arise with most other American pit vipers. Timber rattlesnake bites in humans can cause blood clots and chest pain, as well as digestive distress like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. The snake itself is large. Adults regularly exceed 5 feet, carries impressive fang length, and can deliver a significant venom volume in a single bite. Found across the forests of the eastern United States, it is more commonly encountered near hiking trails and suburban woodland edges than most people realize, and its tendency to remain motionless rather than rattle. Immediately means it is stepped on more often than snakes that advertise themselves more readily. Number 6. The western diamondback rattlesnake. The western diamondback is not the most toxic rattlesnake on this list. It is, by a wide margin, the one most likely to actually kill you. And the distinction between those two things is exactly why it appears here. Although the venom is somewhat less toxic than some other rattlesnakes, it makes up for it by producing immense quantities. As much as 800 milligrams can be delivered in a full envenomation. The estimated human lethal dose is somewhere in the range of 100 milligrams. A full western diamondback envenomation can deliver 8 times that. At sufficient dose, the hemotoxic venom, destroying red blood cells, preventing clotting, and causing massive internal hemorrhaging, can produce life-threatening symptoms within hours, even in otherwise healthy adults. The western diamondback rattlesnake is historically linked to the highest number of deaths, largely because of its wide range and frequent encounters with humans. It accounts for more venomous snakebite deaths in the American Southwest than any other species, not because each individual bite is guaranteed to be fatal, but because the combination of enormous range, high encounter frequency, and massive venom volume makes a serious envenomation statistically inevitable across a large enough population. Fatality rates are estimated at 20% without anti-venom treatment. Number 5. The eastern diamondback rattlesnake. The eastern diamondback is the largest venomous snake in the Americas and possibly the world, and its size directly translates into the most dangerous single delivery mechanism of any rattlesnake on this list. Larger specimens can exceed 8 feet in length and weight more than 30 pounds, with fangs that can approach a full inch long and capable of pumping as much as 450 milligrams of venom. Less than 150 milligrams can kill a human. A full envenomation from a large eastern diamondback can therefore deliver 3 times the human lethal dose in a single strike. The venom is highly hemorrhagic and contains peptides that can cause cardiac problems, leading to death. Due to the large venom volume this species typically delivers, human fatality rates can exceed 25% of bite cases where anti-venom is unavailable. The eastern diamondback is found across the pine forests, coastal areas, and dry marshlands of the southeastern United States, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and the Gulf Coast states. And encounters have produced some of the most severe envenomation cases in American medical literature. The snake itself is also more aggressive than its western relative, more likely to hold its ground, and equipped with the physical size to strike from a distance that repeatedly surprises people who thought they were standing safely clear. Number 4. The copperhead. A clarification. The copperhead deserves a specific entry not because it ranks among the fastest killers on this list. It does not. But because it is responsible for more actual venomous snake bites in the United States than any other species, and the gap between public perception and clinical reality around its venom creates a specific, documented danger. Copperheads bite more people in the US than any other venomous snake, especially in the eastern and southern states, but their venom is relatively mild and rarely fatal. That assessment is accurate in statistical terms. Copperhead bites almost never kill healthy adults with prompt treatment. But relatively mild does not mean harmless, and the specific risk the copperhead represents is not about fatality rate. It is about location. Copperheads live in the suburban woodland edges, creek banks, leaf-covered hiking trails, and backyard brush piles of the most densely populated region of the country. They are encountered more often than any other venomous American snake precisely because they live where the people are. Their excellent camouflage means they are typically not seen before the bite. And their venom, while rarely fatal, produces severe tissue destruction and significant pain, and in people with allergic reactions or compromised health, including children and the elderly, can cause serious complications that the rarely fatal statistic does not fully capture. The copperhead is the snake most likely to bite you. That distinction matters regardless of where it falls on a lethality ranking. Number 3. The eastern coral snake. Everything changes with the eastern coral snake because the venom mechanism changes entirely. The coral snake is not a pit viper. It belongs to the Elapidae family, the same family as cobras and mambas, and it carries a potent neurotoxin rather than the hemotoxic venom of the rattlesnakes and cottonmouth above it. Instead of destroying tissue and preventing blood clotting, coral snake venom attacks the nervous system directly, disrupting the signals between nerves and muscles and ultimately causing the respiratory muscles to stop functioning. This makes the eastern coral snake's bite a specific kind of medical emergency, unlike any rattlesnake bite. The initial symptoms are frequently mild. Some bite victims report almost no pain at all in the first hour, which has historically caused people to underestimate what is happening. The neurotoxic damage accumulates silently while symptoms remain minimal, then progresses toward respiratory failure on a timeline that can move fast once it begins. A large enough dose can kill as early as within 2 hours, making this one of the deadliest snakes on this list. At any one time, a coral snake can hold enough venom to kill 5 people, yet in most defensive bites it only injects a minuscule amount. The eastern coral snake's saving grace, from a public health perspective, is its behavior. It is a small, reclusive animal that bites primarily when handled or accidentally contacted. It does not hold the striking position like a rattlesnake. Most bites occur during accidental contact in leaf litter or when someone picks the snake up, either by mistake or, in documented cases, because the bright red, yellow, and black banding made them curious. The venom, when fully delivered, is the fastest acting of any American elapid. Number 2. The Mojave rattlesnake. The Mojave rattlesnake is the entry on this list that most surprises people who think they know American snakes. Because it looks like a rattlesnake, is often mistaken for other rattlesnake species, but carries a venom profile that is categorically different from anything else in the rattlesnake family. Considered to bear the most dangerous venom of any native snake in North America, the Mojave rattlesnake's potent venom is reminiscent of cobra venom in its toxicity, and bite symptoms may actually be delayed for a few hours. This delay is the specific and underappreciated danger. Because bites often bleed little and cause little initial distress, it is not uncommon for people who have been bitten to underestimate the danger. The combination of neurotoxins can cause massive negative effects that only become obvious as long as 24 hours after the bite. The Mojave carries what researchers call Mojave toxin, a presynaptic neurotoxin that, unlike the coral snake's postsynaptic neurotoxin, works by preventing the release of acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction rather than blocking its reception. The practical result is the same: progressive paralysis moving toward respiratory failure. But the mechanism is different enough that standard pit viper antivenom is less effective than it is for hemotoxic rattlesnake bites, and specific Mojave antivenom is not always immediately available in the rural areas of the American Southwest where the snake lives. The American Southwest and central Mexico are home to the Mojave rattlesnake, which is regarded as the deadliest native snake species in North America. It is a medium-sized snake, generally under 4 feet, and is frequently misidentified as a western diamondback by people unfamiliar with the species. That misidentification, in a bite scenario, creates a treatment delay that the venom's own delayed symptom presentation has already started. And by the time the full clinical picture becomes clear, the neurotoxic damage may already be well advanced. Number 1. The yellow belly sea snake. The fastest-killing venom of any snake found in American waters belongs to an animal most people have never heard of, that looks nothing like what the word rattlesnake conjures, and that has caused exactly 0 confirmed human deaths in the United States, not because its venom is not lethal, but because the animal almost never leaves the water. The yellow-belly sea snake has highly potent venom with potentially human-lethal doses as small as 0.067 milligrams, and the average bite can deliver as much as 4.0 milligrams. That ratio, a lethal dose 60 times smaller than what the average bite delivers, represents a margin of toxicity that exceeds every land snake on this list by a significant factor. The venom is a fast-acting myotoxin, meaning it attacks muscle tissue directly and systemically rather than targeting the nervous system through a single mechanism. The result in a serious envenomation is rapid, widespread muscle breakdown, rhabdomyolysis, that can progress to kidney failure, cardiac complications, and death within hours. There is no specific antivenom produced in the continental United States. The most effective treatment is produced in Australia. The yellow-belly sea snake has among the most deadly bites of any snake in North America, but because it rarely leaves the water, there have been no reported human deaths from its bite. It is found in Pacific coastal waters from Washington state southward, occasionally washing ashore or being encountered by swimmers and surfers in Southern California and Hawaii, and its docile temperament means bites only occur when the animal is handled or accidentally contacted. The absence of documented fatalities should not be mistaken for safety. It should be understood for exactly what it is: an extremely venomous animal that happens to live somewhere most people never encounter it. If that ever changes, and warming Pacific water temperatures are gradually expanding its range closer to popular beaches, the clinical picture it presents will be something American emergency rooms have almost no experience treating. Here is what every entry on this list has in common, and it's worth holding clearly. A 2021 study found that between 1989 and 2018, rattlesnakes were responsible for 90.2% of recorded fatal native snake bites in the U.S. However, deaths from all venomous snakes remain rare, averaging just 2 to 6 deaths per year, with prompt medical treatment greatly improving survival rates. The real lesson of this ranking is not that these snakes are waiting to kill you. Almost none of them are. The real lesson is the gap between what each venom is capable of in terms of raw biological speed and destructiveness, and what actually happens when a modern emergency room intervenes. That gap, between the snake's capability and the outcome, is antivenom, emergency response time, and the distance between where the bite happens and the nearest hospital. In the American Southwest and Southeast, that distance varies enormously. In a remote canyon in Arizona, an hour from any facility carrying Mojave-specific antivenom, the gap narrows fast. In a hiking trail 10 minutes from a suburban hospital, the same bite is almost always survivable. The snake does not change. The outcome does. That is what every person who spends time in snake country should understand. Not the fear, but the math.